Welcome. I'm Marissa Mitchell, and in this Motivation with Marissa, a woman in business is the focus, a boss lady, in fact. As CEO of District Exotic Jet Cars and founder of Women Who Manifest, Nakornsri Sintaisong is making a difference in her own way and on her own terms. Nakornsri, thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you for having me. I am so blessed to be here.
Oh.
It's a part of my manifestation, actually.
Oh, well, let's start there. How did you manifest Motivation with Marissa?
Okay, so I was scrolling online on social media, and a woman that I was following who is involved with manifestation and teaching that posted a picture or a video of you guys having the interview.
Natasha Garziano.
Yes. And I was like, wow, she's in, the show is in DC. I was like, I have to be on this show, because there are so many times where there's shows out there that don't really give you this the opportunity to just uplift the human spirit, you know. And this is what you're doing with this show, and I love it so much.
Oh, thank you. And so you saw the interview,
Yes.
and that's what propelled you to reach out, and here we are.
Yes,
Here we are.
because I grew up just loving Oprah, you know, and her interviews and her platform. And I was like, I need to be surrounded with this energy of just, you know, just soul evolution and human consciousness and just, you know, motivation. So I'm so glad to be here, and it is my manifestation. So thank you.
Oh, well, thank you for leaning into what you manifested.
Yes.
I appreciate you. And it was so interesting to me when you reached out, because
Yeah.
I've seen your work
Yeah.
and what you've done in business. We've had reporters here
Yeah.
use your jet cars on the
Yes.
Potomac. So let's start with that. How did you get into that line of work?
Oh gosh, such a long story, but basically it's putting the two worlds together, which is the wellness aspect of me, but also I love the material world, which is the luxurious side of me. And so I brought those two together, and I said, you know, I want people that, you know, really understand pouring into yourself, you know, really just taking the time to just pour into your wellness, to your luxurious life, or whatever your true expression of life is, and tapping into the challenges of just driving your own boat and feeling free, you know, to do that. So I did a lot of research, and I saw the jet cars in Dubai, and I was like, well, I would love to have that experience here in DC, and I want people to experience that as well. The people that don't have enough time, or the, you know, the luxury to travel to Dubai, they can experience it here in the DMV.
Gosh, and you're based in Woodbridge, Virginia, correct?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Wow, and I've seen the videos, and it's like I feel like I'm there.
Yes.
They look so fun.
It's so much fun.
What do you get out of it? And also
Yes.
just seeing the reaction that
Yeah.
you get from people when they experience the jet cars.
I think for me, it's a part of seeing and witnessing people just having a glimpse of living out their dreams, you know, because sometimes people dream about being a captain or driving their own boat, or even being on a boat, or just tapping into spending like a very, very memorable time with their family, something very unique that people can experience. After they come back, they're super excited, they're super charged, they're spending time in nature, so they feel like, you know, they can just free their mind from all of their worries of the world and, you know, come back to themselves. So to me, I always love to provide an experience or a platform for people to come back to themselves.
And you just opened that, what, within the last year or so? I know it's fairly recent.
Yes, we did. We opened up in May. Yeah.
Just May?
May, yep.
Well, what have been some of the challenges? I know it hasn't been all cupcake and ice cream.
No. Challenges, especially right now with the heat wave going, a lot of people don't want to just be out in the heat, you know. But not only that, I think Woodbridge, I feel like a lot of people who live in DC, they think that Woodbridge is like China or something.
Way over there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I get it. I mean, it's a lot of traffic and things like that, but I feel like, you know, our audience that we want to reach are for the people who get it, they want to experience, this experience, and they don't want anything to stop them. But yeah, I would say location. I would say just season, timing, weather, and I mean boating itself. It's a very just a lot of maintenance.
Exactly. And it's still in its infancy too, so you have time. I mean, it's still a baby and it has to grow, and you have to continue to reach out to people as you've been doing, and using social media as well as a resource. Now, is this the first business you've had, or?
I actually, during the pandemic, I actually opened up or co-founded a juice bar. It's in Old Town, Alexandria.
So you just got plenty of businesses.
Well, that one especially was very, very nice because I was really into just juicing and tapping into just organic living, organic foods, and I wanted people to experience that too. So a lot of times it's really just about me wanting to be the messenger or the vessel to have people experience what I'm experiencing, So those are my motivation to start businesses.
Well, we talked about the professional, and certainly you've succeeded in that area. What do you believe it has been in your personal life that has contributed to you going into business and doing it this way?
Yes, thank you for that. I think just starting from just my background, being coming from Thailand. I was born in Thailand. I came to America when I was about 5 years old. And my parents, they got divorced at a very young age. And then I've experienced my father being deported at the age of 9. And that was super devastating for me. And I just knew quickly that, my foundation was not just as stable as everybody else. And just, having a single mom who was raising me, bringing me into a place where, her mindset was still in survival mode, for a long time. That played a part into, my worries of my future. And then just fast forward, I just feel like, I think maybe I saw something on Instagram where it's like people who start their businesses or entrepreneurs or people who come from a broken family because they don't like to be told what to do. But I think that that's maybe some parts of it is true, but also like for me, I want to, express myself fully in this world. I want to be able to just do what I love, and allow people to have an opportunity for them to, just do what they love as well.
Yeah, you mentioned that statistic there. I mean, if that is indeed the case, I think it has a lot to do with having to be self-reliant, right?
Yes.
No one to really depend on.
That's true.
Until you get used to doing things yourself, because in many ways you have to.
Exactly.
Did you witness your father be deported?
I remember that actually he was living in California at that time, and I was actually in Nevada. And he came to Nevada and he spent some time with us, and I basically was mad at him. And I just remember just being just mad and not knowing that I wasn't going to see him anymore, And then after that, they told me that my father was back in Thailand, and at that time, I didn't really understood what that meant. I thought I was going to see him again, but for a long time, I didn't have even an opportunity to call him or contact him, and so it definitely affected me. Just feeling a sense of death or like grief or heartbreak,
and
abandonment,
Yeah.
all of that at a very young age. So, yeah.
So you had to grow up, single parent household with your mother. What was that like? Because I feel like you were kind of in an intersection of so many things happening.
Yeah.
A daughter of immigrants, first of all. So you got to get to know this area, this land, these people, find yourself in that.
Yeah.
And then you have one parent, your father gets deported. What was that like emotionally for you growing up, especially in your teen years?
It was a sense of wanting to know my identity, or even wanting to feel a sense of family or protection, or just being able to just have some type of family structure. I didn't have that. I just, what I remembered was definitely crying all the time and blaming it on my mom because I didn't know better. And I was pouring such guilt and anger towards her all the time, and she wouldn't tell me, the story. But later on in life, I knew that she held a lot of stories within herself that she had to heal from. But for a long time, I didn't know or didn't realize that she had to survive, and just growing up, not seeing, because I was a cheerleader in high school, so my mom didn't come to support my games, or she didn't come to, we didn't have the regular kind of support system as a family, and I compared that to my neighbors or my friends, and it always made me feel like, that I didn't have the love, that everybody else had. But fast forward, now I know that love is expressed differently in every family, so.
Do you think that introduction to love, what it was and what it wasn't, did it impact you in your life in other ways as you got older, whether romantically, professionally? Were you always kind of searching for it?
Definitely. Having my father get deported at a really young age, I was, well, first of all, around, I would say 11 years old, I did turn to church. And, God became like my first love, and who raised me. So I think that's why I'm so spiritual, is because that was the main person or the main entity that I had to rely on. But then I would say, fast forward in my teens, I was seeking like a father figure, somebody to kind of show me the way or support me or protect me, or at least what I thought that would look like, which I didn't know at that time. So around, I would say 18, I had my first boyfriend, and he was an older person, and he was, I would say, in a category of putting as a father figure to me, and it became an abusive relationship, and that was such an experience in itself. But luckily, I had God within me to understand that was not right. So I did stay for too long, but at the end of the day, I just knew it wasn't in alignment of how God saw me. Yeah.
So you go through that, and you get on the other side of it now, where you're this amazing businesswoman with multiple things working here, and also to the point where you're helping other women get over and find themselves too. Women Who Manifest?
Yes.
What is that?
So Women Who Manifest is an organization that basically we focus on the abundance of women. So a lot of times there's, women empowerment organization where you come together where you're looking for power, right? And you're kind of just inviting women who don't feel powerful and to come to be powerful. But this organization is more so about women who are doing the work, internally, who's, just pouring into themselves, and it's a lonely road to do that, So here's a safe haven for people to come together and share their experiences and insight of, an expression of abundance. I think that's very important to have, to celebrate one another, to hold space for each other, to just say, hey, this is life, this is my life, don't judge me, it's like pouring into each other with a full cup. I think it's very important to have,
Yeah, I think too often we come from a place or operate from a place of scarcity.
Yeah.
And I think when you're in that space, that's where the depression sets in and the loneliness and all the other things, right? The anguish and regret and shame.
Yep.
And it just piles on. And sometimes you have to understand that you are worthy, right? And you have everything you need to get better.
Yes.
Because we can all get better in various areas. But you've created a space, a safe space for women to share.
Yes, to do the work, to share, to form a sisterhood where it's not coming from a space of scarcity. You know, it's coming from a space of abundance, where we're doing the work within ourselves, but we're coming together to pour into each other. And that's a great place to be.
So what are you looking to do now? I feel like you've lived several lives. What's next, would you say, on the roster?
I think what's next for me, there's an inner me who wants to experience living outside the country and just having a more simple life where I can just totally spend time with myself, with God, with nature, and just you know, live a very healthy mentally, physically, emotionally lifestyle where it's not in the rat race of America. But I don't know, I just feel like I just don't know when that is going to be, because there's still a lot of me that wants to express, you know, the business side of me out. But I think that ultimately I do want to just have a simple life.
Do you think that place will be Thailand?
You know what? I definitely have been researching that a lot. Why not?
Why not? Did you ever get to see your father later on?
I did. Yeah, so when I did the inner work, I picked up a lot of personal development book. One of the first ones I picked up, which I know that probably is very popular, but it's called The Secret.
Yes! I still have The Secret and the workbook, by the way. Yeah.
It's amazing. It's definitely, it's a good book to, you know, train your mind to think positively, you know, and attract what you are thinking. And so I did. I attracted to see my father at 23, and it was actually, it was an experience, definitely. It wasn't all the way a happy experience, and it wasn't all the way a good or a bad experience. It was just, I was taking it in. I just said, you know, I wanted to experience whatever that God wanted to reveal to me in this trip, and I'm going to take it with me to America. So,
was he happy to see you?
He was definitely happy to see me, but you know what? When we were at the airport, he was looking for me. He didn't recognize me. I was no longer the 9-year-old kid, you know. I was,
but
know,
you recognized
23.
him.
I did. I was like, oh my gosh, that's my dad. But the way I viewed my dad when I was young is like, you know, different from how I know him at 23. But yeah. Two things I did get from that trip is that time does definitely pass, you know. And as much as I wanted to build that relationship with him again, it was just so much time just had passed. Now he's getting to know me at 23, you know, versus 9. And another thing that I really experienced was the value of education, going back into my home country. So I came back and I got my business degree since that trip.
Yeah, which led you to all that you've accomplished today.
Definitely.
Have you forgiven him?
I did. I definitely forgave him from my mind and my heart. So both things. And I just think that, you know, I'm just allowing him to live out his experience, and then I'm going to eventually be in Thailand to have like a healthy, just a relationship with him. But for a long time, I felt like I had to, like I felt bad for him, and I wanted to help him, and I wanted to, you know, like protect him and stuff like that, which made me tap more into my masculine energy. So I healed a lot from that as well, and now I'm an advocate for feminine divine energy. So
what's your message to other people who are struggling, right, to get to that place where they can even face the parent who left for any and all circumstances? What's your message?
I would say just know that we are all trying to figure it out, whether you're a parent, the President of the United States, or whoever. Like, no one has got it all together, you know, and our parent especially are just children's too, of God, who's just trying to figure it out on their own, of how they know what is right. And then if they don't give you something, it's because they don't have it within themselves. So maybe they came from a broken family as well. And so and if you're aware of that, then that means that you are probably the chosen one to, change that narrative, and do the healing and the loving and changing that narrative for your children.
Wow, you're the one to break the cycle.
Yes,
to
exactly.
Break the cycle.
Yep.
I always end this segment with the same question, so I'm going to pose it to you as well. What's motivating you these days?
Motivating me these days is truly just love and freedom. So I definitely want to be aligned with my love and freedom to express myself fully in this world. And we only have one world. I mean, we only have one life, so you might as well express it fully.
All right, and we have one world. You had it right the first time, too. Nakornsri, thank you so much for joining me and all that you're doing, especially in business. I can count on less than one hand how many women I've met in your industry. So just thank you for, standing in the gap and standing up for all of us and sharing your story.
Well, thanks for your platform. You're doing your God's work in this world. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.